Good morning, everyone. I'd like to call this meeting to order. We'll start out by taking roll call.
Bellinger, Benedict,
Here.
Blassingame,
Here.
Glander,
Here.
Hurt,
Here.
Klecko,
Here.
Ritchie, here, Maslowski,
Here.
Allison Osby,
Here.
Mauer,
Here.
Wallerman.
Here.
Excellent. At this time, if you could all take a look at the minutes from the meeting, last meeting.
I move for approval.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Approved. At this time is our citizen statement time. Seeing no citizens at this time, we'll move on. Okay, we're going to move right into new business this morning. We have Alexa here from the Neighborhood Association that's going to do a presentation for us. Welcome.
Hi. Yeah, my name is Alexa Najunas. I actually work here at the city in the planning department, and I work with neighborhoods. So yeah, I'll just get right started. I have a PowerPoint ready for you, and then I'll just go through it. So part of the City of Oshkosh's strategic plan is to support and help strengthen neighborhoods. And so since they have taken that effort to help strengthen the neighborhoods, we have what we're calling a Healthy Neighborhoods Initiative within the planning department. And basically, we work with neighborhood associations to support any of their needs, help them organize, and provide special kind of incentives for when they do organize. And so since we've started this, I think we've been doing it since about 2011. That predates me. I've been with the city for almost 3 years now. So now we have 15 recognized neighborhood associations. And you can see on the screen there's a kind of a tiny map. But you can see on there the furthest one to the north is our North Park Neighborhood Association. That's just north of Snell by the county park. And then I guess our furthest out west one is Sawyer Creek. And that's over by the 20th Street Y and Traeger Elementary. And then we have a lot in the center city. And our two newest ones, I don't know if this, well, our two newest ones are on the south side, and it's Sacred Heart Neighborhood Association, and then our Congress Field one, and that's over actually closer to campus, and it surrounds the area of Congress Field. It's an athletic field that's owned by the university. So we have a lot of benefits that can help if neighborhoods decide to organize. So we help support their neighborhood organizing, which would be any needs that the leadership team would have. We have a program called the Community Building and Engagement Program. And so that is basically funding provided to each of the neighborhood associations each year, and they get $1,000 per year. And that is not actually administered by us, as in the city anymore. We have a nonprofit organization called Greater Oshkosh Healthy Neighborhoods Incorporated, and the acronym is GO-H&I, and they help administer the CB&E program, Community Building and Engagement. And then we also have the Oshkosh Healthy Neighborhoods Alliance, which is kind of similar to this group. It's a bunch of representatives from each of the neighborhood associations. They meet monthly, and they discuss different matters that would deal with the whole city as a whole and neighborhoods. And that is also administered through our nonprofit called GO-H&I. But city staff attends each of those meetings. Me and Ann are usually there to answer any questions from residents. And then, so we have a goal each year to do one neighborhood plan per year. So we have 4 neighborhood plans complete. And that's Middle Village has a plan, Millers Bay has a plan, Stevens Park, and the River East plan was just completed this year. And we're looking towards potentially doing the next neighborhood plan. We've had discussions with the Menominee South Neighborhood Association, and that's the one that it's the bigger green one on the screen. I know it's really small, but it's closer to the park, and it's the south portion of Menominee Park. So yeah, in addition to all of the general a support for residents that are participating in neighborhoods, we also have 4 different housing programs that are offered to neighborhood associations. So they're the curb appeal program, Sold on Oshkosh, there's a rental rehab program, and an owner-occupied rehabilitation program. We also have targeted blight removal, and we kind of give special interest to those neighborhood associations. We also have code enforcement And we have in the past looked into maybe removing certain blighted areas, certain houses. So yeah, that's like a quick recap of all the benefits of our neighborhood associations. So next I'm gonna get into some of our more like case studies of actual projects that we've done in specific neighborhood associations. So Middle Village neighborhood is one of our older neighborhood associations, and that's actually located just north of City Hall, right here across Church Street or Church Avenue. And you can see the boundaries. It goes up to Irving, and it goes to Division, and right behind Jackson. So this area is kind of been viewed as an area in the past. Well, this started probably in 2011, so I guess it had some challenges before I was here. The streets were in poor condition. Some of the houses were slightly blighted. And so it's kind of stuck between the university and downtown. So this is a really key area that we wanted to pay attention to. And so we selected some houses that really could need some help. And so we actually ended up tearing them down and removing them. And in their place, we started developing plans for 2 green spaces. So you can see pictures of the conditions of the houses, and then on the corner with that tree, you can see where one of the houses used to be and where the plaza or the green space is now. And so we worked closely with the actual neighborhood association. Our goal always is to make sure that all of our decisions are resident-based, and we work and see what the neighborhoods actually want. So you can see the bottom is different visioning sessions that we had with the neighborhood association. They probably drew on there and decided like what kind of amenities they would like to see in those green spaces, so they could really take ownership of those spaces. And then here's the professional version of all the visioning put on paper. They have different types of plants that they could see, some different paving materials, and that's kind of the beginning of a concept for a public space such as this. Here's another one. So there were 2 spaces. One was more of a community garden, one was more just a public space, open area. So yeah, you can see there's pavement and little seat walls to sit on and landscaping. And so there's the construction of it. You can see the path going down. And yeah, so we got out there and actually the residents helped plant the plants. And yeah, so it was really resident-based. And then there's the second location. That's the community garden, and there's a little covered shelter that Habitat for Humanity helped put up as well. And there's the complete version of it. And the house that you see in the background, blue, is actually part of our housing program. They got some improvements on the exterior facade. The most noticeable thing is the new siding. There's more pictures of it, a little tree in the middle. Okay. So that's one of our really good success stories. And then a second one is, so in the Millers Bay Neighborhood Association, which is north of Menominee Park. And that you can see the outline there. It's Murdoch to Hazel. So they are one of our older, more established neighborhood associations as well. And they also share the boundary of Emmeline Cook is within their boundaries, the elementary school. So there were some facade issues with the school. So you can see the pictures as some crumbling brick wall, kind of old looking plants. The fence was rusting and kind of leaning over. So the neighborhood association organized with all of those partners that you can see above, the foundation, the school district, and the city all partnered together to help work and find a solution to all these kind of maybe deferred maintenance issues. And so we used our funding to help create an actual concept and plan through a design company, and you can see this is the finished product. And so whenever we work on projects like this, we make sure that the community is involved, and we do a visioning session and they get all the input, and then this is what is the result of all those sessions. So you can see there's a lot of improvements, like the baseball diamond is improved. They're proposing to redo the parking lot, add improved signage, fix the flagpole in the front. And so this was a multi-year project, probably, I don't know, 5 years at least, of all the residents fundraising and working really hard to make this neighborhood school look presentable and to what they think is satisfactory. So now that's another version of the design. And then here's the construction. Finally, they did all the fundraising. And then there's the finished product. So you can see the landscaping is improved, new grass, new painting, new asphalt, and the flagpole. And then this project actually was put into 2 phases. The baseball diamond was a second phase, and they added new signage. That was the plan. And so the third success story is in the River East neighborhood, and that neighborhood is located closer to downtown. It includes the library as well as the east side of the train tracks down by Bayshore Drive to Washington Avenue. And they do have a neighborhood plan, actually. That's the one that was just completed this year. And so there's this area right across the street. So Ann knows about the William Waters Plaza. So right across the street from the library is this triangle-shaped land, and it's called William Waters Plaza. It was dedicated by the Rotary in 1980, and the reason it's there is because when they kind of realigned the streets at Washington and State, they used to run straight into the library, and they wanted to reconnect them to make a more easy intersection. So they rerouted them around, so it created this triangle shape of land that you see there today. So maybe all of you don't know this, but in 2018, Washington Avenue was getting reconstructed through the CIP program. So that will be completely dug up and reconstructed, and in the process, this plaza will also get dug up. So the residents from River East neighborhood came to us and asked us if there was anything that we could do to help put it back a little bit differently, maybe a bit more improved. And so that's how it started, I think, at least 3 years ago. And so we started the whole visioning process. They were provided funding through our Great Neighborhoods program to contract with a design firm to get the general design started. And those are all of the partners that have started partnering with us so far: the Oshkosh Area Community Foundation, the Business Improvement District, Landmarks Commission, the library is involved, and the River East Neighborhood Association, of course. So we are in the middle of fundraising to help implement this project because it will be starting next spring, so whenever build season starts. And so the goal of it is to kind of help reinforce the strategic plan for the city of Oshkosh. So areas that it's helping improve include quality of life, economic development. It's going to improve infrastructure, and it's going to help strengthen neighborhoods. And so it'll be this new activated space for pedestrians, and hopefully they will be like a covered structure. You can see right here are the 2 images that the design firm put together for us. And so there's a proposed covered structure on the very corner, and that would be used as kind of like a stage. It'll be slightly raised, small-scale musical performances, potentially. The library is interested in some kind of like a story time with the students, or with any of the children in the community. And there's going to be 3 chess tables, and the library has a chess club, and that would be open to anyone to use as well, or just use it as a picnic table. So yeah, that's how it's proposed to look, and this is going to be going in the fall, spring of next year. So yeah, those are 3 of our success stories through neighborhoods. And then these are just some images of what our community building and engagement program has helped improve. So that's the program where each neighborhood association gets $1,000 per year and what they do, they use that money to do any kind of activities, fundraising. If they want to buy equipment for an event, they're able to use that funding. If they want to do kind of a mailing or some kind of door-to-door information thing, they can do that as well with those funds. So you can see in the top left corner, the River East neighborhood used that money to buy that banner to help their image and brand their neighborhood some. So yeah, those are just some images. That's my last slide. So we can talk if you guys have more questions about the housing programs or neighborhoods.
Sure. Thank you. That was very helpful. Can we get copies of the benefits? The reason I ask is someone lives on Grove Street north of Murdoch. And I was talking to him about all the good things the Neighborhood Initiative Program has done, and called to see if he was in it, and he wasn't. But Steve Welly had said, well, if you ask enough people in your neighborhood and then come to us, we'll work with you on setting up a neighborhood. Would they talk to you, or would they? Okay.
Yeah, that's
good.
fine. He can start with me and I can put him to the
Sure.
resources.
And how do you go about getting the partners for the different neighborhoods? Some had more and some had fewer.
Sure. Well, it really is project-based, so it depends on what you're doing. I mean, usually in the past, every time it's been kind of a unique journey. So I'd say for the Emma Lang Cook project, the residents were very engaged. They actually had like a formal committee that they formed for fundraising and organizing it. So they were just very active. So they reached out to all those partners on their own with our assistance.
And so the partner would contribute funds or expertise or
It depends really on what it is.
just publicity?
Yeah, any support, publicity, hopefully funding, but not in every case.
Okay. And why don't you give me your number so I can tell him he can contact you directly?
Sure.
4236.
920-236-5126.
Thank you.
Thank
That's a
you.
question. How long has that been called the Williams Waters Plaza? I mean, I never heard of that before. That's something new today.
Oh, sure. Well, it was, how long has it been named that?
Yeah.
Yeah, so in 1980, the
That far
Rotary,
back?
yeah, and I think that's when the name started, right? It wasn't William Waters before that. The Rotary helped dedicate the space, and there's kind of like a monument. It's like a round marble stone thing, and it has like a quote about William Waters, which is an architect in
Yes, I remember
Oshkosh,
him,
in
yes.
case anyone didn't know that. So I think the Rotary worked, and that's how it started in 1980.
That also a part where the Eagles is and the Y is down there too?
Yeah, that's all on Washington Avenue with the new
That's
YMCA.
all gonna be, okay.
Yep,
Okay. That sounds pretty good there because it looks like a mess, a part of that there.
yep, it's gonna be way different next year.
So it's really an opportunity for us to capitalize on all the momentum that's
Yeah,
going on, the
yeah.
development there. You have the new Y,
Yeah.
the new
Howard.
Howard, you have the
Apartment.
apartments. So now this whole corridor is gonna be a gateway, bring people off Main Street and just kind of improve those areas off of Main Street. It really has a lot of opportunity. So literally, we could put this back together after we dig up these streets and put a grass plaza there.
I told you after.
But this is an opportunity to make it a place, a destination, point of pride. And I don't think you're ever gonna find a city where William Waters designed 150 buildings in Oshkosh. So it really is kind of exciting that we'll be able to have this place as a monument to him.
Yeah.
Thank you, Alexa. It was excellent. Moving on to any old business.
Can I go back to a question for Alexa and
can.
Ann?
Yeah.
Sorry. How do you think the neighborhoods could help this group? I mean, when we were going through the strategic plan for the Committee on Aging, there was a lot of talk of getting the neighborhoods involved to help disseminate information, getting more of the seniors active in the neighborhood associations. How could you guys play a role in helping do that, I guess?
Sure. Well, like a big part of what neighborhoods do is more on the social side and organizing. So yeah, we do all these really cool projects about changing the actual built environment, but a lot of what they do is just one-on-one. They have their neighborhood meetings. Some of them, they all have different schedules when they meet. Some of them meet monthly during summer months. Some of them meet every other month. So I would recommend, I can always get that information too, but it's always good to reach out to whoever your neighborhood organizer is and attend those meetings. And there's always volunteer opportunities, whether it's serving on a special committee to help organize an event, and then once the event is over, then your role is done, or serving a more long-term position. For people who actually don't want to get involved, for maybe groups of people in the community that need extra help, maybe they can't get around very well in their home. That's also a role that the neighborhoods could play, kind of reaching out to those members in our community that don't have those resources. So that's always talked about in our neighborhood planning, how we can reach every community member, every type of person. So it's also just to help the community as a whole, anyone that might need special help.
We've
have,
done-
do
go.
you have a list of the spokesperson for each neighborhood?
Yes, so every neighborhood is listed on our city website, and some of them have Facebook pages, some of them have actual websites, some of them have nothing. But they all have at least one phone number that I can get you. I wouldn't want to just publicize everyone's contact information because they are just volunteer residents, but if you had an interest in a specific neighborhood, I could help get you their contact information.
Sure, good.
Would it be better, Alexa, if we got you a point of contact? Someone from this committee that could be a contact for you to get that information? So
Yeah.
it's not the entire committee, but just one person representing,
Sure.
and then they can bring back that information to the committee to share?
Yeah, and there's always the Healthy Neighborhoods Alliance, which is kind of their organizing committee. They represent all of the neighborhoods, and they also meet monthly. So that might be a more formal way to start getting introduced to what neighborhoods do. So yeah, they kind of deal with different issues at their committee level, and
So, and Julie, working at Bella Vista, can probably share with you guys how businesses have partnered with the neighborhood associations. Bella Vista has been a great partner to Menominee South. They have public gardens now in back. They've held a lot of meetings. You could probably share how
Sure.
that relationship is developing.
Yeah, it's been a great relationship. We were able to be that central meeting point for them and provide a safe environment for them to meet in and easy for our seniors to get to as well. We actually just held their Christmas party at our community on Sunday night. And again, a safe area for everyone to meet. But yeah, just giving back and just trying to figure out how we can just make that neighborhood excel in various ways. We've helped them with that Sea, Sand, and Sailorland Park a little bit too. So that was our first venture with them, really. So it's been a great experience.
I want to ask you a question once. You know, they built a beautiful home out there, I think an oak in the corner of Parkway there. The
Okay.
Habitat
Yes,
home.
yeah,
Is that-
absolutely.
How is that coming along with your project in there? Is that part of it or what is it?
Well, they just had the
Part of
opening.
The neighborhoods have been involved in that project, so
Okay.
you can talk about your piece.
Sure.
And you should probably share what you guys have done there.
Right. We provided a lot of meals for the volunteers at the Habitat for Humanity build and provided another space for them to have their meals when it was raining or the weather was colder. So we were trying to support them in various ways, not just, monetary wise, but, just supporting the volunteers and things like that as well.
so that was a project that had other partners with the city, the Housing Authority, and Habitat for Humanity. And we're calling that the Twindo project. So it's pretty much just 2 units and they share a wall. And so, yeah, we provided funding and we all partners provided funding or services to help build it. And a family of certain need, I guess, will be going in the house. So, and it was previously just a vacant lot, so it's helping improve the area instead of having just open areas.
But you never know, something can be done when everybody gets together. Everybody gives a little piece of the pie or something.
Yeah.
That's why I appreciate our committees here, because I haven't understand so many different committees are involved in this thing. If we work together, that is. So thank you very much.
Any other questions?
I have a couple more. I'm gonna keep this going a little
You
bit
can
longer.
keep it going.
No, just, again, because you just recently went through your strategic planning, I think another item that came up a couple of times was, if we have these neighborhood associations, does planning or somebody else have demographics from the neighborhood associations, like the number of seniors, so that if this group wanted to work, pick certain neighborhood associations that have higher populations of senior adults, do you have that information that could be shared, or is that?
Yeah, we do gather information. The most in-depth version of what Ray is talking about is when we do our neighborhood planning process. We get into all of that. We have recommendations for what the neighborhood could use. We do an existing conditions analysis. We do housing. We do actual residents, age, education level. So yeah, we do gather all that stuff. But for sure, we have 4 that are very well fleshed out because we have the plans.
And then as part of this strategic plan, who is the lead on, there's a neighborhood portion? That, Jean, are you one of those? You and,
Yep.
learn.
Because I think you two would be the legitimate or the obvious people that would be the contact, but maybe getting you involved with GoH and I are going to one of the meetings to try to figure out how there can be some sharing of, resources and stuff like that. So.
You'll let us know when the meetings are and where?
Sure. Well, I have your email, so I can just send you.
You do.
All your stuff.
And then the last thing I wanted to do, and then hopefully if there's other questions from the group, but I wanted to make sure that everybody knew who Ann was. If you don't, Ann Schaefer is, she works for a number of our city departments. We had a couple of part-time positions in the senior center that had opened a couple of years ago, and then those were volunteer coordinator and marketing and a fund developer. They were both very part-time, and we were seeing a high rate of turnover. So in order for us to get a full-time position and try to get somebody stable in that position and to try to get a qualified individual, we reached out to the planning division because we saw the neighborhoods growing and a lot of opportunity for this person to work across departments. So through the planning department, they were able to help fund a portion of Ann's position. So she works in parks, senior center is part of parks, and then with planning, specifically with the neighborhood associations. So Ann is, it's a good resource because working with Jean at the senior center and the parks, with all our events going on, and then with planning, she can help bring that information to the neighborhood associations. So there's a natural conduit for this group to have Ann and Alexa involved. So I wanted to make sure everybody knew who Ann was. So she's been with us 2 years, going on 2 years. So.
Oh. Gotcha.
Thank you. Hey, appreciate that.
Lex, would you be able to email us your presentation today? Or maybe just email it to Bobby and she'll get it to us?
Sure.
Thank you. Any other questions? Okay. Old business, please. No old business? Okay, we're moving on to other business. At this time, I'd like to announce a couple of resignations. I'm, sad to say that this will be my last meeting with the council due to just major work conflicts and the new job and working in New London. It's just made it difficult for me to give 100% to this committee. So it was a very difficult decision I had to make, and it took me several months to actually even make the decision. But I cannot thank Deb and Ray enough for everything you've done for this committee over the last year, and I'm very proud of this group. You've done a lot of hard work, and you are going to move on, and you are all going to be phenomenal in making this group just so successful in helping older adults in this community. So I personally, as your chairperson, just want to thank you for all the hard work you did over the summer. And I will miss you all terribly. I'm always here if you need me for anything else. Please feel free to reach out. I'd also like to announce the resignation of Kathy Glander at this time as well. And again, it was a very difficult decision for Kathy. Kathy has served on this committee for many, many years and has been a tremendous asset. And I know it was a huge struggle for her as well to make this decision. So, Kathy, did you just want to say a few words?
I feel blessed and honored to have worked on this committee with all of you. Some of you as long as I've been here. And the new faces too. It's been a joy. I can honestly see that for the first time this year, I really see this committee going forward and not in that constant flux of being in a mud puddle and can't get out. Very impressed with what you two have brought to the committee. I myself don't want to say goodbye. It's see you later. I'm hoping that after a year or so of dealing with some health issues and things like that, that maybe I can find a spot back here. So it's not goodbye, it's just see you in a little while. But thank you. Thank you for everything you've taught me.
Thank you. With that being said, the Committee on Aging now has a couple open positions. You know, I just want to reach out to the city of Oshkosh and letting people know that this is a phenomenal way to get involved in your community and working with older adults. And, you know, please feel free to go out onto the city's website and fill out an application. It's just a wonderful group of people, and it's just a great way to really get involved. So, Judy Ritchie will do a phenomenal job leading this group. I have no doubt at all, and I'm excited to leave it in her very capable hands. So, any other old business? Wow, that's fast. At this time, then I ask for adjournment. Next meeting date is February 6th, 2018. Any other questions?
Motion to adjourn.
Second?
All in favor?
I-
I
Aye.
Meeting adjourned.